everyone. Hello. Welcome to my Twitch channel, which is being co-opted by the Effekt Podcast, because me and Thomas are Effekt Podcast patrons, and then Matthew is 50% of the Effekt Podcast. And everything I learned about Coriolis, I learned from the Effekt Podcast.
That's what we're here for.
So we're going to play some Coriolis. In the, I don't know where I was going with that intro, but there we go. We had it. Welcome. Let's. Do you want to introduce yourselves? Should we start with you, Thomas?
Sure. I assume introduce my character.
No,
not me,
you.
right?
Who are you? Yes. Let's find out who you are.
That's embarrassing. So my name is Thomas. I live in Canberra, the federal capital of Australia, which no one knows and no one cares about. And I like playing role-playing games, and I have never played Coriolis before, which is why I'm doing this, because I've committed to GMing it next year, and I have no idea how the rules work, so I'm going to learn.
It's okay.
Okay. So you're going to break your Coriolis virginity in public with people watching?
In public.
Well,
I probably didn't think that through as well as I could have.
No, that's quite good, because I did exactly the same with Matthew.
On our stream.
On your stream, yeah. On the Mercy of the Icons stream on the Effekt Podcast YouTube channel.
Which will be coming back to our screens this evening, I should say.
Double dose of
Very
Coriolis
nice.
today. So yeah, Matthew, can you tell us, I can't spell effect, can I?
Yeah, with a K. That's our thing. We ought to have T-shirts with a K. I'm Matthew. I'm one half of the Effekt Podcast. And the Effekt Podcast started out as the Coriolis Effekt, because Dave and I were such big fans of the game Coriolis. But as Free League expanded their operations and created lots of other games that we liked, we thought we had to change our name. And but still, Coriolis is our one true love.
So Coriolis is like a sci-fi RPG, sort of based in what is it? What is the third horizon? It's the third expansion of the human race across the galaxy. And there is a whole bunch of politics going on out there, from who got there first to who's got the rights to which, and what's going on left and right. People might be excited because there's recently the Mercy of the Icons Part 2, the last. Now I watched them talk about this on the YouTube, the Free League YouTube, and it's Cyclades, they pronounced it.
The last Cyclade, I think.
I thought it was
That's how I pronounce
Cyclade,
it.
but then Doug and everybody were pronouncing it last Cyclades, and I was like, have I read that wrong?
It's not got an S on it, but never mind.
I don't know.
They are Swedes.
Yeah, they're all Swedes. And the voyage of the last voyage of the. Help me say this name.
Ghazali.
Yeah, but we're not Arabic, so we may not be saying it how Arabic speakers might.
Based on the chat today, I think it's correctly pronounced the Rasali. Or Rasali.
So the last voyage of the Rasali kind of takes place before all the Mercy of the Icons thing. So in terms of, like, if we were taking the current published adventure as the timeline, we're going back in time to find out what happened on this voyage of a luxury cruiser. So we've got a couple of characters. Should we introduce them, or should we introduce them in the game? I'm not sure how to start this one, because we've got some interesting kind of set. I know. Okay, right. This is how we'll do it. So we, in the film that is this adventure, it opens with a news ident, the thing we just played before. It opens with this Red Spider News Network, like big authoritarian music, and it cuts to a very well-dressed business lady on a stool in what's very obviously a virtual studio.
Yeah.
So she's probably sat there in front of a green screen or something, and you can see that she's clearly kind of digitally made up. So she doesn't look as old. You can't place exactly which part of the horizon her features are from. She's a little bit welcomingly generic in her looks. So you can.
She is every woman.
Yeah, she is. And the thing across the bottom of the screen flashes up, and her name is Tania Abu Harim, and that flashes up, and it's host. And she says, "Welcome to Red Spider News Network. I'm your host, and today we have some breaking news for you. Journalists of the Red Spider News Network have brought to you some exclusive footage never before seen from the rescue attempt earlier this cycle into the Sarabi gas mine disaster." And then it kind of cuts sideways, and she says something along the lines of premium subscribers to Red Spider News Network can, of course, download the original footage as supplied by our journalists. And if you subscribe, you can, and then it kind of continues on with her talking about how you subscribe to the network and that kind of stuff. And a thing flashes up on screen that says, "Watch original distress signal," kind of thing. And the camera kind of clicks on this, and we see a bridge of somewhere. We can't quite make out the face of the person. There's like glitching and distortion, and a voice that's garbled by compression and unzipping and all the kind of future tech things kind of blares out like alarm code 1A, alarm code, it jitters, requesting immediate assistance, and it jitters again, unknown signature, reminiscent jiggers, evacuation has commenced, supplementary stasis, we have to, and it jiggers again, by the grace of the icons, and then it jiggers and kind of cuts out. And as it sort of ends, the camera kind of comes up, pans out, and we're sat at a table. This tabula is sort of propped up against a chai teapot or something, and there are three figures sat around it. One of them is the woman who we previously saw in the virtual newsroom, but now she's wearing clothes that can conceal her more. She's a little bit jittery and looks as people pass. She's got a hood up and she's sort of trying to disguise herself. And the two other people sat opposite her. Who does she... So she goes to hand a tabula to someone. Is she handed to Afra or Ali?
Well, I think Ali, as a spokesman, I mean, if Afra is going to be using the tabula to put Ali on screen, then
no. So
I'm happy to take it.
So we've kind of cut to a different scene. So we've used the portal, the virtual thing to kind of do that. What is it? The set the scene. Prolepsis. That's the word. That's the one I'm trying to think. And we've cut to. It's definitely somewhere on Coriolis. It's someone's chai kind of cafe, and it feels like we've maybe come to what's really happening. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. We're not on display anymore.
No.
I think she hands it to Ali anyway because.
Right. So she hands it to Ali. What does Ali look like? Who is she handing this tabula to?
Right. So Ali is wearing a really traditional set of Arabic gear. So he's wearing a gambelia, which is the big, long, flowing robes with underrobes underneath it. He's got a turban. He's got a full sort of pull across his face. So his face is masked as well. The only thing you can actually make out of Ali's features are actually just his eyes and around that section there. You can see just the signs of tattoos under his eyes, like little blue tattoos going down underneath the veil. The clothes are really well appointed. So he's obviously from a quite wealthy background. That's what he looks like.
Right.
He's not particularly anything physically, so he doesn't look particularly big or buff or anything like that.
Okay. So
Those are very beautiful eyes, though, aren't they?
they are.
They are incredibly entrancing eyes.
So she hands the tabula to Ali, which is, you can see, has got some sort of bulletin breaking news flash going around on it,
Right.
with this distress signal kind of cut, and whatever the bulletin, like the authoritarian look of the bulletin kind of there, and ticker screen sort of dates that might indicate that we've actually gone back in time in terms of the narrative from when she was originally talking. And she hands it to you, Ali, and she says, there's something more to this. There's something. I've got Borak. He's got the footage. He's working on it. Can't quite see what they're hiding. This rescue mission they're mounting. I've got you beds on it.
Excellent.
You need to go and find out the truth. And she gives you that, and then she hands over to Afra another, either a ticket or a tabula with some data on it, kind of thing. And she says, "Get your ship there. We've secured it. I've bribed some stevedores to get it into the Ghazali. So you won't have to follow in the flotilla. You'll be right in the midst of it." And she hands it over. What does Afra look like?
Afra is almost an opposite of Ali. Afra is Hijra, so it's very difficult to tell what sex they were at birth. They have very short. Their face is entirely uncovered. They don't tend to traditional clothes at all. Afra wears a flight suit, a very anonymous flight suit, unbadged, or badges of clothing companies rather than anything official, in a sort of olive greeny grey colour. Afra has short dark hair. Afra also has a large black cybernetic implant over one eye, I guess giving them a slightly piratical look, with a sort of glass shiny front in which anybody talking with her can see themselves reflected. She doesn't smile much, and she asks very practical questions like, can we put the portal hopper into the rescue ship's hangar?
Yeah, we've all the details should be in there. I've left it to Borak to arrange. I wanted to maybe keep my head down a little bit while we're here on Coriolis, but yes, we can get it into the hangar. Everybody is gonna. We've got you two cryo beds in with all the other rescue workers. If anybody asks, maybe your technicians or someone who can help with the effort.
That's easy for me to say. I don't quite know why. What Ali can do.
I imagine once you get into the thick of it, they won't ask too many questions. It's amazing how many people are rallying for this. I can't imagine we're the only ones who think there's a little bit more to this.
There's always more. Any story on the bulletin, there's always more behind it.
There's always more. She says where are we? Scroll. They're gonna the Ghazali is gonna take a couple of portal jumps, and they're going to be escorted by a Legion ship. I'm not entirely sure why a Legion ship is going on a rescue mission. It feels a little bit unsettling to me. Surely there would be better sending. And she just sort of trails off a little bit. The destroyer is called the Zafira, and they'll be going ahead. There's a pretty penny that the colonial agents are putting on this, so there'll be a bit of a flotilla behind you as well. The distress call doesn't make clear what's going to happen, and from what I understand, you're going to be jumping in to anything around the gas mining colony. So good luck. This could either be one of those happy happy pieces where it's the whole horizon coming together. Look at the efforts, get some, and she looks at Afro and is like, get some shots of people doing heroic things, finding dogs in rubble, whatever animals are in the third horizon, cleaning babies' faces, that kind of thing. Ali, get some interviews with rescue workers, stevedores that are out there, find out how long they were trapped in rubble and so on. Trapped under a bulkhead, locked in an exo cupboard, whatever. Or this could be a terrible expose of terrorism, mismanagement of property and maintenance, endangering workers. Let's find out something. Either we'll syndicate it to some of the local systems and make some pennies as a community journalists, or we'll run this on the network and up our subscriber count. And she sort of finishes her tea. Look, may the icons watch over you. I'm feeling a little nervous here on Coriolis. There are places I'd rather be. Good luck. And she pays for the chai and whatever you've had for kind of meals, and leaves you with the data and that kind of stuff. The Ghazali is going to leave in about 5 hours. So really you've only got time for like a little bit of prep here. Like, I don't know whether you want to go and find a chapel and pray, or spend some burr in some of the Coriolis markets, or try and find out who's going on the mission or who's going on the rescue or anything else.
5 hours. Ghazali leaves from the Neoptra spaceport or from the net?
I think it's from the spaceport.
Okay. Well, that makes things a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
We've got most of those 5 hours.
Yeah.
So, when we say, so can we go shopping at the markets? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, really dumb question. Are we going to be able to bring our own spacesuits? Like, so we're going to a gas mining facility. Is it floating around a gas giant? Is that why it's a gas mining facility?
Around, what's it called? Towan?
Towan.
Yeah. So it's floating around that.
Right.
It's this gas mining. It floats in the atmosphere, harvests expensive gases, useful gases, and that kind of stuff. You can take a reasonable amount of stuff and stow it in your ship, and then you're going to be expected to sort of come out the ship and join the Ghazali's sleeping chambers, their stasis.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I assume we have some form of EVA or spacesuits of some description on the ship that we own.
Well, I have. I don't know about
the
you.
Defade. The Defade. I went to all the trouble of looking up frog in Arabic today just so I could use it. So the Defade.
It's just a portal hopper. It doesn't get a name.
It's a puddle jumper.
I like the idea that somewhere in the registration you can just make out a very vague shape of the word Defare. Like it's like where it's like a D4F 1-3, you know, that kind of setup that Ali is sort of taken on, and Afra is like, it's not called that. Stop it.
Just stop it.
Just stop.
Wow.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm going to have to go and buy an exo shell. Okay, that's dandy.
I mean, you'd assume that the rescue mission would have a number of them if you didn't want to shell out your hard-earned burr on.
Yeah, but
no, that's
one
fine.
you've looked after that you know works, I always think is more precious than one you pick up from a pile that other people have discarded.
Yeah.
It's also much easier to hide a whole bunch of equipment inside your own spacesuit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. You know where all the pockets are.
Do that.
So I will go big and spend an awful lot of my money on an exosuit. So I will head to the markets.
The big bustling markets
Yes.
that feel like they're outdoors but are still indoors on Coriolis, and that messes with my brain a little bit.
Afra, do you have anything you need to buy, or is it just me?
I think I don't need to buy anything. I think I have to check over the equipment. As usual, if you've travelled with me before, you know that I always take a bath before and after any voyage. So I will be going to Hammam, I think, and I will go to a temple, as I always do. And I think I will pray to the dancer. I may do a little bit of research and just see what I can dig out on. There's not going to be much there because I'm a firm believer that there's Nithid hegemony and the consortium kind of suppress any real news. But
Yeah,
I
of
might
course they do.
data spider a little bit.
Okay.
Data gin a little
Data
bit.
Gin for the Red Spider News Network.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Ali heads off into the markets. It's not, I mean, we're on a space station, so I shouldn't imagine it would be too difficult to find a whole array of exosuits and that kind of stuff, and you know, traders.
Yeah, I'll point him to the Ozone Plaza. That's where all the best tech is.
Yeah. People sort of
Right.
measuring you up and like, you know, oh, you know, your shoulders, good shoulders for this, and you know, this is this, look, this extra, this and that, and you know, trying to farm you off with all the extra quick release self-inflated, I don't know what exosuits are.
Suits you.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, like trying to up the cost of the exosuit for you, and you know.
So Ali has about just over 2,500 burr left to his name, having spent quite a bit already.
Yeah.
He will happily blow an extra 500 burr on the exosuit, so that makes it about 2.5K.
Yeah.
To make it have the blue tile pattern. So he's not interested in any extra useful things, but it will be pretty.
Yeah.
He will make sure it's pretty.
So they will, custom design. They'll get the 3D printers, the ceramic painting machines of everything kicked off, and they'll say, for you, my friend, for you, sir, 3 hours. We'll have it ready in 3 hours. This job.
Oh no, that's okay. Yes, no, that's right. I've got 5.
Yeah,
excellent.
5. Just enough time to.
I will go and find the appropriate way to pay thanks to the gambler before I head off.
Okay.
So whilst Afra has headed to the temple, I will find a place where the gambler is more present and engage in games of chance to try and work out and happily lose, because of course we know that the gambler both takes and gives. So I am happy to lose here so that I might win in the future. So when we pray, praying to the icons, I literally just found it.
Yeah,
Okay.
55 it's on.
Yeah. You make time for privilege, especially and you pray you plus some modified re-rolls. When you pray to the same icon any time. Prayer takes first modifier becomes +2. Okay. All right. That's fine.
Back.
Wow, that's super useful. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to explain to our listeners that if you pray in advance of any encounter, then you get +1 on skill on rerolls of skills that you that are relevant to that particular icon. You can also, of course, pray in a temple or chapel, and you get +2 in that case. So I don't know how you want to rule it for something that's going to a casino, which could be argued to be a chapel to the gambler, but personally I prefer to do my prayer in the chapel, and I'm also praying to the gambler, but in a more official way than simply using money.
I don't know. I quite like the idea that somewhere in lower Coriolis is a chapel that has some kind of front half of the chapel has got some tables of chants or something, and then further back and that kind of thing.
When I was in a particular region of Thailand, a lot of the Buddhist temples there had little sort of collection boxes that involved a train going around under a slot, and obviously your donation was worth a lot more if you managed to drop your coin through the slot at the time the train was underneath and it got carried around the track. So I can understand there are some gambling temples around.
Yeah, so something like that. Like, and I imagine that they are all chants. Like, there's limited amounts of skill in whatever the events Ali is joining in.
Absolutely.
Rather than like actual sort of poker style things, because obviously the temple wants to win, and we want to mitigate the ability of the winning, if you will. So we take some time to do that. Afra wanted to do some data ginning. Yeah. With their time.
I'm just going to do this from a public terminal.
Okay.
But I just want to kind of go through references. There's been news items about this tower incident, rumours. We've had the Legion. You mentioned the Legion being involved. I'm pretty sure I've heard that that the Order of the Martyr are involved, and they've been quite isolationist. So I'm kind of intrigued with that. What can I find out? I can find out absolutely nothing unless I utter a prayer to the messenger, which I might do.
Yeah.
And give you a darkness point.
I put them in the shelf.
And no, I'm afraid I know nothing.
No, it's all bulletin stuff. So
typical suppression.
Yeah, you can't trust any of it. But you're right. There's things about the Order of the Martyr. This is almost an unprecedented level of cooperation in both the retrofitting of the Ghazali, which is originally a big, beautiful luxury cruiser, and companies and people have donated equipment, stasis pods. Salvage companies have given over some of the bits that they would have claimed to retrofit almost 500 stasis beds in the ship. There's about 200 of them are going to be filled, with the expectation that the other 300 or so will be used for returning survivors from the disaster, whatever's happened out there. And so everything else is very sanitary, very clean for broadcast, suitable stuff from the bulletin that you've probably already kind of dismissed as not the whole truth. That kind of thing. They probably don't mention the Legion so much when they're talking about this rescue effort. There are probably some interviews with plucky captains who are signing up to save whoever, or interviews with like, I've got a sixth cousin twice removed who works on the gas giant, and they don't deserve to suffer. It's great that the colonial agency is rallying this. It's amazing how everybody's cooperating, and it's thoroughly unsatisfying in everything you find from them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I think Ali and I will meet at a predetermined time, load the stuff he's brought into the back of the portal hopper, and then take a trip into the hangar bay of the Ghazali.
Yeah, so you can see that as they load up the ships, and as you make your way in and they set everything in, it is very much like a let's get the things installed now rather than a thoughtful job. And you can see it's a strange mishmash of really old, beautiful murals on the sides of the hangar and the corridors, and worn carpets and a luxury of a time not sort of used anymore. And then honking great cables from one end of things to run power supplies, and crates and boxes sort of strapped to one side of the wall in ugly cargo netting and that kind of stuff. People still kind of welding or working on things on one side of the stuff. Other people directing folks who are getting off their own ships, or perhaps haven't come on a ship, like foot passenger style, through the cargo bays and into the belly of the Ghazali themselves, directing people around. You can see that there are a few folks who look like they are crew rather than workers, marshalling people around, and it's very aggressively busy in the Ghazali. Like, quick, we need to get to this, get on this, and get off. Once you're sort of got your portal hopper stowed, it's a little bit of a contrast, because your ship that isn't called the Frog or anything like that,
just a portal hopper.
Just a portal hopper is quite small in comparison with the other vessels. Like, you can see that there are people here who have got like salvage ships with external equipment for maneuvering parts of what is assumed the gas rig is gonna be maybe broken, hauling bits of it around. Some of them look like space ambulance style things and that sort of stuff. And then we've got this little 2-person portal hopper, just
Class 1.
Yeah,
So it is.
Yeah, just there in the corner. And you're then kind of directed through the corridors of the Ghazali to where you're gonna go into to stasis while they do the jumps.
You go ahead, Thomas. I'm just going to stow. Ali doesn't quite put things away properly, so I'm just going to properly stow his new extra shell, and then when I'm sure that he's not looking, I'll just give the portal hopper a kind of stroke as I leave it, and whisper something to it, but not for anybody else to hear, and then I'll follow after Ali.
Mm-hmm.
So if Ali's being directed / escorted to the cryotubes, I want to see if I can talk to any of the crew while I'm on my way there. Shipman Suleiman, I believe. I can see on your name tag there.
And he says, "Oh no, Suleiman is the AI. Sorry, my name is Rahim. Sorry."
Oh, well, Shipman Rahim, tell me. There's been a lot of commentary about, the destroyer that's just outside, sort of points pointlessly through a portal. He has no idea whether the Legion destroyer is out there or not, and nor does he care. It's doesn't it strike you as somewhat odd that, you know, we're getting escorted by a military warship on a basically what is, you know, really a rescue mission? I mean, I find that quite fascinating. What are your thoughts on that? Click.
So Shipman Rahim kind of looks at you a bit and says, well, I hadn't thought about it like that. We don't know what's going to be at the end of the second jump. Could be anything there. Could have been pirates, or could have been just a natural disaster. They're better equipped to go into that sort of situation than the Ghazali.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a good insight. Good insight, crewman Rahim.
And he starts to.
Do you
look
have to have a
worried.
relative on Toan?
He starts to look. He's like, should I be worried? Should I be concerned about this?
No, nothing to worry about. We're all here to help.
No, I'm here for the danger pay. There's extra money
right.
in this mission. We weren't gonna. It's volunteers only for the crew. Like you.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Look, I felt compelled. I could not look away from the suffering of others.
And
as
oh, go on.
Go on. No, all I was going to say is, and as I move away from crewman Rahim, you hear Ali going, "Heartwarming story in the face of human adversity, my ass," as he gets into the cryopod.
Yeah. So yeah, as you are sort of led through these corridors, and there is like old worn tapestries, and you can see this was a luxury liner, and you're sort of led into what at some point was probably a grand ballroom, and is now just got banks of cryo sleep kind of thing. They've just fit it everywhere, and you can see that a lot of these are already filled, and you kind of filter along past another one into what was probably like a dining area attached to a ballroom, and you kind of move into there, and there's more and more people asleep. You can see technicians just checking over all the extra beds and that kind of stuff, and you make your way into what is probably quite deep within the ship, and now you're among some of the last ones to be sort of, you know, what would it be? Seated, bedded, prepared for the journey.
Bedded, I think.
Yeah, bedded.
Turned into corpsicles.
Yeah, corpsicles.
There's a lot of ways to describe it.
And yeah, you're now like in some sort of what probably was a cabin, but it's a huge cabin. And there's 10 beds, probably 7 or 8 of them already filled. And crewman Rahim goes, Ali, this one is for you. And he looks around and probably like eventually Afra kind of.
I'm chasing up after the guy, so I'm arriving about the time.
Yeah, and then one for you. And he says something along the lines of, you know, may the deckhand watch over you, or may the, you know, keep you safe kind of thing, as he seats you in your beds. There is sort of, I imagine some sort of head-up display, like a pre-recorded message, which is the captain of the vessel, Captain Al Koreshes, and he plays this kind of message to you, which is like the Serati colony has sent the distress signal, and we are part of the response team. What we expect to find after the jump to Towan is not clear, and you should have all heard the message by now. We are being escorted by the Legion destroyer Zafira, and we will make the jump immediately after her. The Sarabi colony is a gas giant orbiting the system's largest planet. About 300 colonists, mainly miners, plus a few scientists. Since we're going in blind, no orders have been issued. Sensor sweeps will tell us more when we get there. All non-essential personnel like yourselves are to immediately go on ice and sleep their way through the jumps. The icons are with us, the deckhand smiles in the bed next to you, and the traveller keep watches us on the bridge. See you all in Towan. Sleep tight. And then we sort of have the cold, icy embrace of the ice cryo. Yeah.
Okay.
And if we were in a film, that's where we'd fade and we'd have opening credits.
Nice.
But we're not. We're on Twitch, and I can't afford that in terms of making stuff. So sometime, we don't know when. Who would? Let's see. Let me have a look on. What would it be? Who would have? Who's got the highest? Yeah, I think it would be strength. Who's got the highest strength out of the two of you? Is it Afra?
I'm 3 strength. I think you're 3 as well, Thomas.
I am. Ali has 3 strength.
Nice. That's not helpful though. So, for nothing, let's each of you roll a d6. Let's see who gets the higher number.
I got a 2.
Well, I got 1.
1 and a 2. All right. Okay. So Ali.
Yes.
There's a strange kind of feeling. You still feel cold. Your head is heavy. There is a flashing lights, but no sound. And you wake up in your stasis tube, and you realize it's not the normal wake up procedure. Almost as if you've been jolted. Like there's nobody there to open the door and help you out, or normally there's probably some sort of hot drink or something to revive the senses. It's all silent. Lights are flashing. There's probably a muffled kind of sound somewhere, but the glass and the head just can't. You can't process what's going on, and then suddenly you realize like the white pulses of light and the red light strips around the floor. It's emergency lighting. There's some kind of emergency happening.
Okay, so first question. Can I get out of the status tube by myself?
Yeah.
All right, so I will punch the release or whatever it is that gets assumably the hood to open. Clamber out in my white underrobes. Look around. First thing, what do I see?
So looking around this small room with the 10 beds, you can see that Afra, there in their bed, a little way over. You can see like the HUD, the sort of display on the outside is like emergency revival procedure active, and it's bleeping through. You can see lights going on in there. Some of the others around the room, you can see emergency revival not viable on their sort of screens. Some of them have just got flat out like flat lines. Would you like us to assign a coroner or priest kind of things on the front and that kind of stuff. Lights are flashing. The LED strips that have been installed around are flashing white and red. You can hear like clanging and clattering, echoing maybe through the dining room or the ballroom further up. There are no klaxons going off, which you'd maybe expect. And the air around here is all sort of acrid, and there's definitely a fire of some sort not far away.
Okay. So my first action will be to make sure that Afra is going to come out of cryostasis okay. I don't actually have any medical skills, so that's probably not going to go well, but that's what I will try and do first of all. So I will go and confirm that Afra is coming out of cryostasis okay.
Yeah,
and then
so it's just cycling through. Like, you assume that because they were maybe one bed up, it's just working its way through in automatic kind of, I can't remember the right word, like sequence.
Progression,
progression.
Yeah.
And in a moment or two, Afra will you'll be able to open the door and help them out.
Right. So is he the last? Because he was almost the last person to go in. So is he the last person to be woken up?
In this room, at least. Like, there might have been a couple more behind you, but certainly you were among the last on the Ghazali.
Okay. So are there any other people coming out of cryotubes, or are we the only two viable recoveries?
Looks like in this room you're the only other two who will be making it out of cryo.
Okay. Right. Well, then I will wait for Afra to wake up. I will put on the rest of my robes so that I'm appropriately attired, because that matters. What of our equipment am I able to have carried with me? Not a question we checked earlier, but
I know, right?
I will ask now.
Not like I knew.
Yes.
So if you've got, so this is a question: Would you have stowed maybe? I know you've got some small arms, so if it's small or if it's light, you might have been able to have stashed it in amongst your robes or in your locker there next to your stasis tube.
Okay. All of my weapons are light weapons.
Nice.
Quite
So
deliberately. The question I probably have more is the environmental scanner that I happen to have.
So would you'd taken that out of the ship and carried it with you, kind of thing, or?
Probably not, actually, in reality. So let's assume it's in the ship. So the only things I will have on me are my weapons, because I can carry them. My Jambelia is actually armoured. I have protective clothing associated with it, so I'm actually wearing armour. And I'm probably carrying my short-range communicator, which I pack. Not that it does a lot in this circumstance, but I have it all the same. So on that note, I will wait for Afra to wake up, and once Afra's awoken, we will get dressed. I'm not going to go off and explore by myself. I'm definitely going to wait for Afra's consciousness before I move out of the room.
Good plan. So yeah, there are some tense moments as we wait for Afra to rouse from consciousness. Not sure whether we should press like any of the buttons on the front of the stasis tube to maybe wake them up. Like, does this make it go faster? Like, no, we'll not touch.
No.
And eventually, Afra, you wake up in a similar fashion to Ali. It's disorientating. You're still too cold for a normal revival routine. The lights are flashing, and there's a very, I assume, anxious looking Ali stood watching you wake up.
It's not a face I want to wake up to.
Well, I don't know, it might be. Ali is very handsome.
Not staring at me like that with that
entrancing eyes.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I have entrancing eyes.
Oh, you do? Yeah, there is that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And right now, that's all you can see.
Yeah.
So my eyes flicker awake. I take a few moments. You know, I'm used to flashing lights and things going wrong because I'm a pilot, and that's why pilots pray to the gambler. But this is all kind of strange, and you know, not coming out of cryo sleep. So I'm a little bit shaken by this. And there's Afra on the other side of this thing, looking at me through this. You through the perspex, or have you lifted the cover off?
No, because I'm deeply worried I'll kill you if I've done anything to alter the flow. So, no, what you've got is Ali tapping on the top of the thing to see when you wake up. It's like tap, 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 nothing.
Oh,
tap, tap, tap.
That's probably the first thing that I hear, and that's really unusual for cryosleep. But I give you a thumbs up in the end, and then I find the self-release toggle and press that or pull that, whatever's required, to let the hydraulics lift the canopy off. Ali, what's going on?
I have no idea. However, I suspect something very bad has happened to the ship, because there were 10 of us in this room. 2 of us are currently alive.
Okay. At which point I kind of sit bolt upright. And the first question I have to ask is, are we out of portal space?
How do you know?
Well, you're not mad, so I'm guessing we probably got through portal space before we woke up. But
could explain why I think everyone's dead. But no, I suspect we are out of portal space, that being the test.
Okay, I will have a look round the other. Is there anybody else savable? Because I do have Medicurgy and I do have tech skills.
Yeah, sure.
So I may be able to
so
awaken people.
This is this is a Medicurgy roll.
I'm not great at Medicurgy, I have to say. But I'll give it a go. I didn't praise the Lady of Tears, who I think is Medicurgy. I can't remember. I should have that list of who you pray to for all these different things. But I'm rolling 5 dice on Medicurgy. And I get a success.
Okay. So maybe the next 2 up from Ali, as you look at them, a bunch of like medical diagnostics stream over the information. A lot of it, every now and again, glitches, kind of thing, like it's not operating or it's not plugged into the main system in enough of a way to use its full processes. Whatever's happening here is purely the processes and the capability of the stasis chamber. And you get the idea that if you let these folks out, you're going to need to find some medicine for them pretty quick. There's some sort of radiation sickness or radiation poisoning that they've sustained. It's not life-threatening while they're essentially in cryo, but if you were to revive them, they might start suffering with it, because obviously the metabolism brings back up and things start happening.
Ali, did you bring your environment scanner? We need to check for radiation.
Well, on that, no.
You didn't bring the environment scanner.
No, you packed it away.
I bought the recon drone. I bought everything we're going to need because we're reporters.
You packed it away on the Dafadi. It's in the Dafadi.
What?
The frog. The frog. The puddle jumper, portal hopper, whatever you call it. It's on the frog. I don't know where it is. It's not here. You packed it away.
But aside from those 2, a couple of beds up, everybody else is like terminal. No point reviving. Will die. Pretty sharpish. Triage level of computer decisions here.
Right. Okay. So those 2, we could save their lives, but I don't want to do it until we know what our resources are. Is there some sort of notification I can put on their displays? Tap in, do not open without medical attention, sort of thing. I'll put that message on for anybody that follows. And we need to find some crew here and find out what's going on.
We do, but I think the first thing we need to do is turn on the recon drone so that we can start recording.
Very well. Okay, I will get that going. And that's an observation roll, apparently, using the recon drone. Although, is it a technology roll to actually get it turned on, an observation when it's working?
I think you know how to switch this. This is like part of your job. I think you know how to set it up and get it in the kind of journalistic tracking mode sort of thing.
So now this all ornate, I'm sure, brass and good looking, because this is I mean, there's military check like this as well, but this is specially converted for the job we have to do.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it looks quite nice, and I'm sure there's brass involved in it. And anyway, it extends its little scarab wings or whatever, and then floats out of the case in which I carry it, and is currently just programmed to follow us around, focused mostly on Ali, of course, because that's where I normally point it. And we've got that with us now.
Yeah, so it sort of takes up its standard kind of getting Ali in frame procedure, little spotlight kind of thing, perhaps, to make them look good. And yeah, it's up and going.
Okay.
Right, so as soon as it's flying, as soon as it's up in the air, Ali instantly turns to the camera and looks directly at it and says, "We've woken up. People are dying. There's fires on the ship. We don't know what's going on, but we're about to find out. Cut." And then he, basically turns around to take a shot of the whole room.
Yeah, so
and then moves out.
Doing its
Don't tell me my job. I know my job.
Be real stuff.
This is the bit we have to edit out every time. And then I walk out the door.
All right, so we walk out into the fine dining room that we came through, which connects to a ballroom sort of thing, and you can see like the banks of the cryostasis tubes here are all that similar red notice as we make our way out towards the edge of the Ghazali. All of them are just red lights kind of through.
The lady of tears. There are so many dead here. What's going on?
And you can hear like echoing and like clanging around the ship as well, like clattering. We make our way throughout and into the corridor that we came up to. It is dark. There is only emergency lighting. We're not entirely sure of the layout because we really only came from like the docks, the cargo kind of hold. Somewhere on the other side of the ship will be a bridge. Presumably there's some sort of repurposed room as a meta center, or there might be a chapel somewhere. What are we just going to head towards the docks? Do we want to head towards...
Well, first of all, I'm looking for crew. Is there anybody in the uniform of the crew here?
No. You've not seen another living soul.
Okay, so I'll shout out, Suleiman, are you online? Suleiman, are you online?
Suleiman does not apparate, whatever the right descriptive words.
That was the Jinn, right? That was the ship Jinn.
Jinn, yes.
Yep. Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Right. If we're going to save those two, we've got to find the sick bay.
So the medical center.
Temporary signage around.
We look around a bit. It's quite dark, but we use the drone to perhaps light different parts to work out. Let me just see. Scroll.
And so just to mention, about every minute or so, no, probably every couple of minutes, Ali is, making some comment to the drone about what he's seen. It doesn't matter what it is. He's commenting on it. We found these people, we found this broken material. We don't know what it means. And it's completely uninformed commentary. I think that's the most important thing to comment on at this point. It's just... He has no idea what's going on, but he's filling space, which is actually how he's dealing with his stress, because he's obviously quite stressed.
Oh, we don't have that mechanic in this game. I know that one.
Yes, I punish my players frequently with it.
I love stress. It's great.
We do have mind points if you want to give us stress. It works a bit differently, but
no, not yet. It does say some things, but not yet. All right. So there is scrawled on the wall. Eventually, you find, and it's directing you further towards the front of the ship. A medical bay, escape pods. and bridge, which the bridge will be in its original sort of Ghazali kind of beautiful, at the pointy end, beautiful illuminated font with like gold leaf that's probably scratched and chipped off, and then underneath you've got probably some sort of Sharpie, space Sharpie, Medibay that way kind of thing, and then there's probably like spa and theatre and that kind of stuff written underneath it in the illuminated font, and one of them's crossed out and it's like, you know, Cargo Bay 3 kind of thing, Stasis Chamber 7, that sort of stuff. So further up the ship we're going to follow our way.
Right.
Right.
So we're going away from the hangar, are we now?
You're going like on the other side of the ship. So if the hangars and stuff are one side, you're sort of going on the other side towards the pointy bit at the front.
I'm trying my best to remember and work out what the quickest way to the hangar is.
Yeah.
If we need to get back there. Just bearing in mind that our exosuits are there.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew I should have worn mine to the status tubes. I just knew it. Okay.
Just have clattered up the status bay, would have tripped over it and broken our noses on the first in the dark.
Absolutely true. And someone would have chipped one of the tiles.
Yeah, wouldn't have been as classy.
On your suit. Yeah. The chipped tiles on your suit are the biggest priority we have now.
Who is in the lead?
The detail.
Is it?
Oh no, it's definitely Ali who's in the lead because he's got to be in camera frame.
I refer to Ali in all these things, even while I make snide comments.
Okay, so Ali, as you come up to kind of like an intersection, in the corridors, you can the acrid smell of the fire seems to have died down, and I imagine you've probably done like, I don't know, a little bit of crime scene style investigation and that kind of stuff. You're not necessarily unaccustomed. There's a definite waft, even though the air cyclers are not going on here. There's a definite waft of blood coming up from
a coppery tang in the air, perhaps.
That's indeed, yeah. From the intersection up ahead.
Right. Afra.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your weapon?
No.
Right, so Ali reaches into his robes and sort of goes, so you can have either the hand fan or the gun.
I just reach casually for the gun and look at it. What is it? It's small.
It is literally the smallest firearm you have ever seen. I did note that it's called the Vulcan cricket, and I do have the direct image of the cricket from what was Men in Black 1.
Yeah, little tiny,
the noisy cricket, I think, was its original title.
Mm-hmm.
So he passes over the only weapon he knows how to use, trusting that Afra knows how to use it better, and pulls out his hand fan, which lights up along the edges. It is indeed the lightsaber of hand fans, and moves carefully now. Afra, I don't know if you've noticed, but I smell something not so good. And
yes,
starts, you stay here, I'll go and check, actually. Now, little known fact about Ali, he's actually quite stealthy. Oh, well, okay, he's okay at stealth.
One of those moments.
What is it? Year 0 engine dice rolling. How could I miss it? That'll be no successes. So he creeps up to the corridor, trying to be as stealthy as possible, while Afra illuminates him with the recon.
Drone. Yeah, I like it. Okay.
Drone as he creeps up.
All right, so you can see almost scattered over this intersection, it looks like a number of dead bodies. And as you creep closer, the recon drone behind you just sort of illuminates. You can see there is a lot of blood here. and these bodies look like they've been ripped and torn apart.
Right. That didn't happen as well. Maybe it did. There's no damage to the corridor itself, though, is there? So, like, structurally, the corridor looks fine. Yeah. Okay. I actually have survival skill. I don't know if that's applicable. I also have, weirdly, culture. I have a lot of culture, but I have survival skills. So I actually want to sort of examine the scene and see if there's anything I can ascertain in relation to what might have caused all of this damage.
Sure. Yeah, you can make a survival roll. Survival test, as it's called.
4 dice. 2 successes.
Nice.
So that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Okay, so we look over this. There's around about 4 individuals here. All of the bodies are horribly mutilated, torn apart. As you kind of crouch closer and you look over them, you spot that there is some sort of like predator's style teeth marks, like some animal has torn these folks to bits. You can see in some parts that whatever's killed them has also begun eating them. Like there are chunks that are, and in that kind of worried sort of shaking the head to remove chunks, which is why the area is just covered in bits of human. Whatever happened here, they stopped eating at some point and left, and they've gone west, whereas you want to go north through the ship if you want to the pointy bit. They've gone west over towards the direction of the docks.
Oh, good. That'll go well.
Spore or giblets or whatever heading off to the west, like definite evidence that whatever creatures have done this have moved west, and not where we're going.
Not where you're going.
Okay, I am still going to stop and make a prayer to the judge at this point, changing my preparatory prayer from the gambler.
Sure.
No chapel, but still, I'm looking to aim true with this.
Yeah, I would expect so.
Oh, I see how that works. Right. Okay.
I'm going to whiz my recon drone a little bit down the corridor to the west, about as far as, well, at least until the next sort of turning in the corridor junction. And I'm looking there for evidence that as to where they might have gone.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be. Is it observation to use that? Does it give you a bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Observation, yeah. Sorry, just work calling me. Which, given that I'm on furlough, I shouldn't be reading. But anyway, there we go. But I can ignore. So observation is wits, 4 dice, 5 dice. Oh, and bonus for the recon probe. I didn't write down my recon probe's bonus. Give me a moment. Damn it.
Recon probe +3.
+3. Oh, that's handy, Harry. Stick that in the oven.
Yeah. Recon probe explodes.
I get 4 successes.
4 successes. Okay. So you follow the tracks down to maybe the next intersection. And you can see that they do continue on. Among these predators or whatever they were, it looks like there's then a scuffle between them. Like you can see that these bloody paw prints, these footprints, and they do look like paw prints, scuffle amongst themselves. There's almost like a pool of blood. And and then the majority of this pack of beasts continues ahead, and whatever was
the loser.
Yeah, the loser slowly is you can see there's heavier pools of blood as it follows, limping along behind.
Right, and just in these pools of blood, have I got a size? Are we looking at Scavara or Necatra-sized predators?
I think you're looking at Necatra-sized predators.
Right. I don't have much familiarity with Necatra, but I will take a still and flip that over to Ali's communicator. Can you identify that footprint? Is it Necatra, I ask?
I can certainly try. That seems like another survival check. Would seem like the most logical answer. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
Oh, one success. So that's a win.
Yeah, pretty definitely. You might have seen these before. You might have studied this, but yeah, it looks like Necatra.
Okay,
cool. So what are Necatra?
The Legion use them as soldiers. They're semi-intelligence. They're also pretty big, and they're inclined to eat people.
Awesome. And they're on the ship.
Yeah.
And they're on the ship. They may have been on the ship to help us, but I don't
think that's going so well.
Why they're on the ship or what mood they're in now. There are people I'm aware of in the Legion that can communicate with them, and they do follow orders, but these ones I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with not so much at the moment. Quick cut to the camera. Ali looks at the camera. We've just discovered the Legion has lost control of some semi-intelligent Necra. We don't know where that's going to land, but based on the evidence before us, we think the Legion's going to have to be answering questions when we get back to port. And then turns back. Right. So, we've got to make...
We'll say, sotto voce, we don't know the Legion Necatra.
Shh, story first. Story first. Now, I do have culture. I do have quite a bit of culture.
Yeah.
So the Necra,
Necatra,
so out of Necatra, sorry.
Yeah.
So out of character for a second, there's a whole sort of humanist view of non-human species going on, right? So the word semi-intelligent is absolutely about humans defining a whole bunch of alien species as less than them.
I wouldn't say alien, possibly biosculpted species.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Yes, because we also happen to define humanite.
There's humans, then there's humanites, then there's intelligences, I think is the way it goes.
Yeah.
Other creatures, yeah. Okay. Do I know anything about Necatra culture? So they've obviously had a stoush. Are they like a pride species? Do they fight for dominance? Is there a way this might be valuable information at some later point?
Yeah, make a culture roll then, yeah.
All right, finally, something I'm good at. He says,
this is Coriolis. We don't use skills we're good at.
No, and I'm fully expecting to get no successes as a result of my cursing myself. No, I got one. Okay, that wasn't terrible.
All right, so they have like packs. They're often led by a female alpha.
Right.
They have a very strong predatory drive. And they can be very much like a clever girl kind of situation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
bit calculating in their efforts.
You clever girl. Okay. Let's hope we don't end up with that line being used in this particular episode. Right, great. Okay, well, I will share that limited amount of information I have about Nakatra with Afra. But based on the evidence before us, we're going to keep on heading north, right? Because they're heading west. We're certainly in no position to go and pick a fight with a bunch of slavering, giant, predatory humanoids. Neither of us really cut the mustard in hand-to-hand combat with giant, predatory humanoids.
My intention is not to let them get close enough to be involved in hand-to-hand combat with.
I like that.
How many shots does this cricket have?
I don't know. Actually, that's the one thing I should.
The mechanic of Coriolis is it runs out when Millie spends the darkness point.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. That's easy then. So it's like rolling a panic roll.
I've only got 3 darkness points right now. That's all.
Nice.
I've only got
all right.
3.
Well, we continue north.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we continue.
Oh, by the way, there weren't any weapons lying around the bodies, were there? Just.
I don't know. Do you loot the dead corpses?
They kind of be
there's
effective
weapons.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be corpses. Let us assume the effective weapons are on the guys who aren't lying here in pieces.
So yeah, you glance over them. I mean, they've got, you can see like there's most of a lower torso there with trousers and pockets on. One of them's got a tool belt around their legs, and there's a hydro spanner or something in it, which would serve as a blunt instrument if you wanted to club something to get death. This one looks surprisingly unbloodied or unused as a weapon. They might have bits and pieces on them if you want to search them.
I'm going to grab that tool belt anyway, just as a technician, and knowing that you at least need to have a bottle of WD-40
some
and
gaffer tape.
Cut tape to do anything in this world.
Yep. So we grab the tool belt, maybe shake off like a bit of viscera, onto the plomp. Strap that, put that around, and continue north towards where we think we're going to get some ability to communicate with the ship or some system update or something. How do we do like a group test in here? I know like in some others it's like the person with the lowest stat makes the roll. How do we do it in Coriolis?
I don't think it's particularly defined here, except for the obvious thing, and the mechanic doesn't particularly work if we all make a roll. There is the help thing. The help thing in Coriolis, you have to have the skill to be able to offer help.
Okay.
Which is the same in everything.
That isn't the same in all of them.
So it depends. Yeah. So I was reading. Actually, it might not be relevant, but I was reading about this in Forbidden Lands literally yesterday. And so the approach they took was if you are doing an opposed roll with something where, like, so stealth, it's the worst skill.
Yeah.
But observation, it's the highest because only one person needs to notice something. Yeah. So it's the person with the highest observation skill who rolls observation, but it's the least quiet person, so the person with the lowest stealth skill who makes the stealth roll, right? So as an example.
All right.
Or infiltration, I should say, in this game.
So yeah, who's got the highest observation?
So I have 4 dice.
I roll 5 dice on observation.
Yeah. So we can make an observation test, and we've been walking through the echoey, strange corridors of the Ghazali for a good 30 or so minutes. It's like a startlingly long thing to walk through when you don't have the lifts or the space golf carts to get you around the luxury cruiser. But yeah, we can make an observation test after we've been going for a while.
Can I ask Millie whether this would be one that's enhanced by the fact that I'm also running the recon drone at the moment?
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, so you can have your +3 with that.
I've definitely got that best observation. So I only get 1 success though.
Okay. So I guess the recon drone is perhaps trained to enhance or pick up audio, like speech. It's set to recognize that, and the notification or the alert or however Afra finds out or is alerted to it, it asks you, like, would you like to enhance dialogue or focus on dialogue ahead?
Yeah, so normally, of course, what it does is it filters out extraneous speech and focuses on Ali's talking. But I can turn that filter off, I'm pretty sure, when I notice that the other mic sensor's just showing a little bit of something in the corner. So I will put my finger to my mouth. Hopefully Ali's got my attention, and I will tell him to shut up and enhance that other channel from the perimeter mics.
Yeah. So it's quite low, and you can hear it's having trouble distinguishing between maybe 2 or 3 different voices. But the subtitles or whatever, like the voice to text, it's sort of bringing up for you. It's like, maybe they know what's going on. That one looks like it's got technology. They know they should have medicine. Go out and talk to them. No, we wait for them to go past, and then we just take it. They look too fancy to give a care about us. And that kind of conversation is going on.
So Ali, I whisper.
Yes, what is it, Afra?
Just around the corner here, and I can identify where these guys are. Can I?
Yeah, it's just So clearly they're up ahead. They've got a bit of an eye line on you, but the darkness and perhaps the light that you have from the drone is maybe messing with your night vision to not pick them out so well.
So I said, desperate, not bad, but they're planning to jump us.
Right.
I will perhaps then take command.
Okay.
This one, and I'll say, we know you're there. We're armed. Come out with your hands up. And I will use my command roll, which is not great.
Okay.
But I will do it anyway.
Let me see.
And it is 3 dice.
Where?
That doesn't work, but we'll see what.
Did you say 3 dice?
I said 3 dice. My empathy is 2. I have command because I was in officer training. I was in flight school. I've had officer training, but
nice.
I'm not good at it.
Where is this person's? No, not you. Up. Up. There they are. All right. So from around the corner, you hear like a voice shout back, we have people behind you. Throw down your medicine and kick it forwards.
You can probably do this better than me, Ali, but
perhaps
tell them that if they work with us, we might all get medicine. But we're on our way to the med lab now, but whatever you want
to the med lab. Yeah. My friends, please, there is no need for violence. We are fellow travelers trapped on the ship like yourselves. We seek only to find medicine as well. We have none at this point. Perhaps if we work together, we can find it. And I will roll my manipulation skill, which is much more my thing. Unless I can roll culture, but I assume I roll manipulation.
No, I think this definitely we're trying to manipulate these dudes.
So
now, can they see me?
Which I think should be 6 or 7.
Yeah, they can definitely see you from the light in the.
Oh
well.
Yeah.
I've got entrancing eyes. Mm-hmm. I do have entrancing eyes.
Yeah.
So I will roll my 8 dice and get exactly 1 success, but it's fun.
So you reach out to them, try to call on cooperation, and so on. And I think the maybe Afra spots like the voice to text that the recon drone it picks up it's like, is that one from the news network kind of thing? They must know what's going on. And somebody stepped.
I tell Ali that they watch Red Spider.
Yeah, they watch Red Spider.
I was hoping it was crewman Rahim.
No. So somebody steps out, like this chap steps out, and into the light of the drone, and you can see he's wearing probably the overalls, the clothing of the folks who were kind of stowing the ships and the cargo and the medical supplies. He looks like a stevedore, and he steps out, and as he kind of moves into the light, you can see he doesn't look that great. Like he looks, as you've sort of investigated the cryotubes of other folks, this dude looks like he's suffering from mild radiation poisoning. You can see that he's his skin in one side of his red, and probably the palms of one of his hands are all blistered, and he has like cloth or some sort of clothing wrapped around the other one, and it looks like it's sore. He says, we don't know what's going on. We need some medicine. There's a few of us who are ill. You must know what's going on here. You were from the news. You know the where is the crew? Why were we? Where are we?
My friend, I'm afraid we are trying to uncover the truth ourselves. It is clear that the ship has suffered some great disaster. Come with us, or rather, well, we advise not staying here alone. We have also sighted predatory beasts wandering the corridors.
And he doesn't look surprised at that.
Right, well, that would have been... Did you load them? Anyway, no, sorry.
So he doesn't look surprised at that. He says no, we went to try and find some help, and when we came back, Kifar, she was dead. Something had tore out her throat. There's a beast, and then like another couple of people kind of come out of the shadows with them, and they're all sort of chiming in with, yes, yeah, there's a monster here. It's something that's followed us from the darkness between stars, that kind of thing. It's an evil djinn come to wreak havoc on the rest. It's whatever destroyed the gas giant. It's now destroying, and there's a whole sort of cacophony of confused and crazy folk who step into the light of the drone,
so Ali is not a fan of, so for all of his incredibly conservative dress, he's completely rejected the whole concept of the mysticism. Mm-hmm. He's probably as close to being a heretic as you can get away with without being one. So the moment they start throwing, we've been attacked by jinns and, creatures from, between the darkness and the stars, none of which he believes in. Mm-hmm. He will obviously discover that is a mistaken belief to hold. But for now, that is his belief. He will work very hard to convince them otherwise, because it's exactly the sort of thing that drives him mad. So, he will, he's like, no, my friends. Truly, if it was a creature from the darkness within the stars and it was capable of destroying entire gas mining facilities, do you honestly think it would strike but one person within a small corridor. No, it is the Nekatra. It is the Nekatra who have escaped their confines and are now wandering the halls. I have seen proof and evidence of their existence, my friends. So he's going to try and convince them to calm down. I will do another manipulation roll because clearly...
I will also say, and this is an extra dice to you on your manipulation roll.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whatever is behind it, we are better working together than fighting amongst ourselves and robbing from each other.
Yeah, definitely. 2 successes. All right. So there is a wave through the, let's see how many of the so there's 7 of these people in total. After the first dude who stepped out, there's 6 more who sort of step into you. I guess like Afra realizes or is happy that they haven't snuck up behind you either. There was just a ruse.
I was trusting that my observation skill would have spotted behind it. So,
there's
I didn't believe
other,
him for a moment.
Yeah, there's no other thing. She was right there. But yeah, they sort of come out, and there's some of them are like, well, the Nekatra must have been sent by the evil, or the Legion are just trying to. We're testing for a terrible Nekatra training programs. This conspiracy theories go crazy in amongst them, but at least it's conspiracy theories that are real and not like jinns summoning beasts to rip out their innards. And the one who seems to be mostly in charge, and as you sort of look them over, the one that seems to be mostly like the healthiest of the crew. Some of them look, not crew but group. Some of them look seriously suffering through radiation illness or complications from a too rapid a revival. He introduces himself. Look, I'm Lahore. These are some of my stevedore crew. We don't know what's happened. We just need to find some medicine and get off this ship. Do you have a ship? Can we go to the docks and get on your ship? Do you have? We could just leave. I know the way. We could. I have much money back in Coriolis. I could pay for us all.
Escape pods are this way, I say, heading the way in the direction that we want to go to the Medicurgy. I don't lie. I just point out the escape pods are this way.
He nods. He says, "Well, we didn't think we would. The escape pods. No, friends. More sleeping chambers are this way."
And the Medicurgy, where we can get the medicine, it's this way.
And he nods. He says, "But it'll be locked. They won't just leave it open. But you must." And he gestures to Ali and be like, "You must have authorization or special."
Yes, my friends. Yes, of course. Yes.
Ability to get in. You with
Of course. Before we boarded the ship, the captain himself talked to us.
Yes, of course he did.
About the importance of our mission and how critical it was to film the coming together of the people of the Third Horizon to rescue those who were at risk. That's why we were on the ship. So I think we should go this way, and I just point where Afra was pointing. I have no idea where we're going, but I'll go with Afra's guidance. We need to go this way. I'm certain that the Medicurgy is that way, and we'll walk purposefully in that direction, trusting that Nekatra is not going to leap suddenly out of the darkness and kill me, embarrassing me in front of my friends.
Sure. So there's a bit of an uneasy kind of, we're following him now. And I think in the group of some of them are like, do you want to interview me? Can I be on the news network? Can I know friends I've got relatives in the gas mine, that kind of stuff. Like I've got a good story. Do you that kind of thing? And they'll
look. Why don't you come up here and walk with me? You tell me your story while we make our way to the Metacurgy. The cameraman Afra will make sure that we capture this conversation so that we can play it back to the people back home.
Yeah, so they begin telling you their life stories.
As long as they're walking in the direction we want to go, I don't care.
What was that, Matt?
Sorry, Afra, what were you saying?
Myself behind the group as a whole and make sure that I'm covering them with a pistol and with the recon drone, obviously.
Yes, obviously. So there is a long, spooky walk through corridors. Ali at the front being the investigative journalist that he is. Folks literally like taking their turns to tell you, I'm so-and-so and we worked here and this kind of stuff. And you can see as some of them are talking to you, their noses maybe have been bleeding. They are suffering. Like at one point, Afra maybe has to stop at the back while somebody is literally just vomiting. And their friend, one of the other survivors, sort of pats them on the back and rubs their back. We get probably a third of the way down the ship. The long walk through the corridors, things echoing. There's definitely creaking of bulkheads going on. And your voices, the chats of the folks echo around. And up ahead, the light of the probe, the recon probe, shines on what is clearly a decompression bulkhead that is locked in the corridor.
Okay.
And Lahore, who maybe knows the ship, that's his name, isn't it? Yeah, Lahore. Maybe knows the ship a little bit better than you. He sort of, you see his shoulders kind of drop and be like, damn it, sort of body language. As you get close. And he puts his hand on the bulkhead and says, I don't know a way around, but maybe if we're lucky, and he goes over to the screen next to the door, like there's an information point. He goes over to it and he sort of says, I know none of I load a ship. Can you? And he looks at Ali, because obviously Ali knows everything because they're a journalist. Maybe this can give more information.
So Ali
just
looks at it and then looks at Afra. It's like, technology, that's awesome.
Looking at the damage itself, as a spacer, can I work out at all what's caused it?
Yeah, sure.
As a combat spacer.
Are we looking at the bulkheads that have closed? Or,
yeah.
Or yeah, sure.
And a technology roll, I guess.
Yeah.
That's 6 dice. 2 successes.
Nice. All right, so you look at this, you kind of look around. Doesn't look like there's any damage around here, in terms of the bulkhead and that. There are no sort of, explosive decompression warnings. Do not open this door, kind of thing. It looks like more to Afra, like in an emergency situation. Precautionary bulkheads have closed around the ship, rather than definitely the front of the ship has exploded and now we're just floating in this thing. This is,
that's
a little
kind of
bit.
what I was looking at. So this is simply a compartmentalization.
Yeah.
There should be an override.
Yeah, somewhere near here should be an override.
Or data driven.
Probably.
I'm just thinking, is there a great big steel wheel that needs a force roll or a data gin roll to get through the...
There will be a great big... Somewhere in these walls, you could probably rip off a fancy panel and find some sort of big manual release mechanism. And Lahore has found a data access point. So there's a couple of opportunities here in this corridor.
Okay, well, I will first of all go for the manual one. So can I find a great big lever behind a panel?
Yeah, we spend some time. We spend maybe 20 minutes or so pulling off panels because Afra knows there should be something around here that would release it. It would be foolish to not have a manual release or something. And the Ghazali was a luxury liner, so obviously the safety of its guests is paramount. So there must be something. And we rip off bits of wall, and we probably use spanners to pry open panels and cupboards that we can't unlock without special keys that the janitor system or the maintenance system would have originally had. And eventually we find this great honking set of mechanical kind of wrenches, maybe one on each side of the hall to move both sides of the door, and not accidentally one person just decompress the whole ship, sort of thing.
So I say to Lahore, you guys are stevedores.
And he rolls his eyes in like, yes, of course, okay. I'm
just trying to give them something to do, make them feel useful. Not relying on Ali all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, two of them will take up, because they're ill, two of them will take up sides opposite to Afra to roll that side. I guess Ali takes up cool investigative journalist pose and shines the recon droid.
Absolutely.
Lines.
I will also point Ali's Vulcan cricket at the door.
Yeah.
And wish I had something bigger.
Yeah. I will roll.
You'd have nothing if I hadn't brought it with me. I'm just making that point.
Ooh. It is a torturous wait, as it takes entirely too long. Like, you know, that adrenaline that you're like, okay, right, ready, go. And we look over at Lahore and some of his other stevedores who are like, and just when we're like, oh, for crying out loud, the doors, they only got one success. The doors just part. And then a couple of the other stevedores head over and sort of push their hands in, maybe using some of the piping that you've probably dislodged in your search for these mechanisms, and crank and push open the door as a team effort to try and get access further up ahead. And slowly but surely you can see a familiar sight, like a semi-dark corridor up ahead, and flickering lights and electrics, and not the darkness of space, which is a relief.
Yeah.
There's no sudden rushing of air into the room, is there?
No, it's like everywhere on the ship, like the air processes have just stopped. There's no aircon going on here.
No, that's fine. Well, Ali will pop his head through the door because he's mad, and sort of look around while they're opening it. He'll also recognise that filming very sick people with radiation sickness and making them leave or open doors is not good film. So he's going to delete that later. Just making it clear. Yeah. It's not a great look.
It's the community working together. And we journalistic ideals is we have to step back. We have to record the community doing the job. We're not there.
That's true. It's just the way we were the ones that were telling them they should do it that I'm worried about. But sure, no, I hear what you're saying.
Look, we can fix it all in post. It'll look great.
Yes, edited later. Yes, nice. Yeah. All right, so I step into the room because someone's got to, and Ali doesn't have a gun.
Yeah, with your fan.
That's right, with my fan. Sounds as deadly as the gun, by the way.
I know, it's pretty cool. It's a good fan. So are we going to continue ahead, or are we going to leave the data, the info terminal?
Oh,
I feel like
You really
we've
want me to
forgotten
hit
that.
the info terminal. Okay, data
You don't
gin.
have to. You can just head straight ahead, but I don't want you to get halfway up the corridor and be like, let's go back, kind of thing.
Okay, let us do that. That may explain a little bit about why it was closed. Data gin is 2 and wits is 4 because I'm clever. So that is 6 in total. Okay. And I get 1 success.
Cool. All right. So a little bit of rewiring, maybe a little bit of familiarity with this kind of thing from rewiring the recon probe now and again and that kind of stuff. And we managed to bring the terminal back to life. And you've got an option. Do you want manual interface, or should it activate the avatar, which means it'll pop up with whatever the representation of Suleiman is, who will.
I would like to bring Suleiman back online. So let's do this.
Okay. So it takes a moment, and there's like initializing and that kind of stuff, and some sort of projector or light source kind of kicks in, and we see a small looking gentleman, ceremonial headdress, shining kind of eyes, sort of build up, standing next to Afra, and Suleiman sort of looks through Afra, doesn't make eye contact kind of thing, and says, welcome to the Ghazali.
Suleiman, how long have you been offline?
And he glitches a moment, and says, unknown. That's unfortunate. Would you like me to direct you to the theatre?
I would like you to direct us to the temporary medical facilities.
And Suleiman, like, you can see the processing, the lag on this is way longer than you would anticipate. And then Suleiman gestures, and a whole strip of LEDs along the corridor light up yellow. He says, of course, please follow the lights. Safe trip.
Will you come with us?
And he glitches back into like the waiting pose. He says, systems appear to be offline in some areas of the ship. This is unfortunate. The crew will no doubt be fixing this shortly.
Suleiman, would you be able to project a map of the ship and indicate the areas that are currently not responding or offline?
He does. He holds out his hand, and you see like this 3D projection of the ship. He puts out a couple of locations around the bridge is not responding. Propulsion systems. He also says a number of areas. Let me just scroll down here. What else has he got? All right, so he highlights a number of areas as well that have got not recommended levels of radiation. Our janitor crew will be doing their best to rectify this kind of situation.
Radiation spill in aisle 9.
Yeah. So he's very much like downplaying this, like, oh no, radiation all over this area.
Luckily, we have janitors for such things.
Yeah, luckily, our highly trained crew will be ready to restore the Ballroom 3 to use within some time, because he's got no idea when. So yeah, he highlights a number of places, the bridge and propulsions, and some other places that aren't listed, so therefore aren't critical to our interests.
Is there anything between where we're standing?
No,
and
your path
the
to
dock?
Medlar. Oh, the dock. I think there are probably one or two areas, but it's not completely cut off. Like you could make your way around. It would be a circuitous route. He advises take the scenic route that perhaps takes in the murals on sublevel 3 and the spa or the what would it be the haram maybe on deck 3 kind of thing, where he suggests that route. He also I think he probably at some point recognizes or reacts to Lahore's uniform, and he says, crewman. And then he glitches for a couple of moments as if he's like taking. The ship is currently drifting towards the Haruma Star. We will reach the D zone in 18 hours. Please rally the captain and bring this to their attention.
Repeat that order.
So Sulman looks at you and says, apologies, this message was for crewmen only. And then looks back at Lahar and repeats it. So he says, the ship is currently drifting towards the Haruma Star. We will reach the D zone in roughly 18 hours. Please rally the captain and pass this information on immediately.
I assume my communicator has a watch on it. I'm just setting 18 hours.
Yeah.
So that I can keep track of this. Well, we have our work cut out for us.
I assume the D zone is bad.
I'm assuming G is where we cannot escape from the gravitational pull of the star. Neither us as a ship nor any vessels getting off the ship. I very purposefully say if we should find one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
quite
something like
protective
that.
of the portal harbor, you see.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. Okay, so we should probably move on to the metallurgy and then make a beeline for, is there an armory?
Sulman says, I'm sorry.
I'll look
You're
at
not
Lahore.
authorized to access that information.
I'll look at Lahore and say, Lahore, need you to ask
and Lahore
Suleiman
does the
a
Sigourney
question.
Weaver thing where he just repeats your question. And Sulman looks at Lahore and says, I'm sorry, you're not authorized to receive that information. Only bridge crew have access to that kind of thing. Bridge crew and the security chief can issue that kind of stuff. And as I've just clocked the time, and I think as we finish interrogating Sulman, and the ripples of what does that mean? We're falling into a star? Where is the thing? And everybody sort of begins questioning what information has been revealed. I think that's where we'll end this session.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Thank you very much, Millie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was fun. When shall we three meet again?
Well, I don't know how you guys. What are you both on? Is the term furlough? Sorry.
Yeah, furlough from the day job. So I'm free tomorrow. I'm not free on Wednesday, but I am free on Thursday and Friday.
So I'm running workshops at the moment. I left my work laptop at work, so that wasn't a great start to my evening. But anyway, so I'm only working part-time at the moment. So
cool.
It is nice, actually. I had to fight for it, but it was worth it.
I just remembered we're still live online. I completely forgot we were doing that as well. So
can we say goodbye to our
We'll say
viewers?
goodbye to folks.
Yeah,
we'll
sorry.
say goodbye to Bob and Bicky and Effekt Podcast are watching. Bob and Bicky and Violet and Taro and Wolfman. Thank you very much for subscribing, folks. That's really awesome. we'll say goodbye to you. Do check out Effekt Podcast, because that's where me and Thomas have got here from. Matt's podcast and Dave's. And Dave's as well.
Mostly mine.
He's mostly Matt. Is amazing. If you support them on Patreon, there is a wonderful Discord, really lovely Discord community that was where we organised this session in. I heartily recommend. And if you don't, at least give a subscription to the podcast. There are 2, aren't there?
So we've got effektpodcast.org, which is our sort of magazine show, comes out every 3 weeks, and effektap.org, which is where we put our actual plays. Currently running our most popular ever actual play, which is Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah, Destroyer of Worlds. I've been listening along. It's really good. I'm really excited for the big finale. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back and we'll post somewhere. You can see on YouTube, whenever. But yeah, thanks guys. Take care now. Bye.